Mason sessions as very important to your experience at the hardware show. We just want to make it better for you every year. So any insights or input you can give us and your critique of this event will be of great value to the REIT exhibitions, the National Hardware Show, and of course to us. So thank you all very much. Okay, let's just start with the notion of communication with the vendors. It's something Manuel touched on, and in terms of what's changed with international sourcing. And I'm going to actually start at the other end of the table, and I'm going to start with John and ask John. Manuel gave quite a harrowing tale of trying to communicate with his suppliers in Asia. Is that changing? How's that getting better?
Well, I believe that the communication is better than it's ever been. However, there are a number of different things. Besides the fact that you're speaking English and they're speaking Mandarin for the most part, there's also different languages used within different departments that you may be dealing with. Example would be, Manuel used a word that would be, what he said was fill rate. Just out of curiosity, show of hands, how many people know what fill rate is? Okay, we've just lost half the crowd, and excuse me, but that's a great example, is that when you have an engineer dealing with an engineer, there's a phraseology, there are terms, what you were saying in language that you are accustomed to communicating at your level of communication with your peers may well be different than it is in China. And ultimately, that's besides the language different, there's also dynamics of departmental differences in phraseology that you may use.
Just to help us out here, so what, I know what is fill rate. What else would we call it?
Well, fill rate is ultimately what fill rate is your ability to be able to keep the peg hub full at the store. In other words, if when you ship product into a store, it has the peg hub where your product is. If it's empty in the store, it's costing everybody dollars, both you and the retailer. Your fill rate would be ultimately that peg hook is full just in time as the last one's being sold. The guys, they're putting them back on. 100% fill rate means that every order that they've shipped is shipped 100% on time. And that is an imperative by all of your customers now. Because again, the most expensive thing you can have is an empty peg hook.
Thank you. Manuel, have you seen the experience of communication improve then over the years, or just if you've had to rely on third-party partners? What's gotten better?
Yes, it's having improved, and vendors, they compete each other, and the access to the vendors every day is easy, so they are getting better.
Okay, good. And actually, I had someone that another Canadian manufacturer say that it used to be she'd get 2 or 3 emails a day from Asian factories, and now she's getting offering to manufacture her product. And now she's saying she gets like 15 a day. So again, we're seeing that competitiveness increase. Larry, have you got a comment on this topic?
I just wanted to say that I've found that our customers have upped their expectations on importing. And that is not only in the form of communication and so on, but they expect to receive North American type delivery, North American type packaging, North American type, like as if it came out of one of our North American facilities, not as generally what you normally would expect to see from an Asian import. A lot of things that have changed, and those expectations are coming from every customer that we do business with that they want to see. I mean, John touched on the fill rate. I mean, we get hammered for our overall service level on a regular basis, that it has to meet a certain level, and we pride ourselves on the fact that we're going to meet those levels. And it's strategic performance and so on is really how you're rated as a vendor. So it's very, very important, and we have to keep up with the demands that our customers are putting on us in the area of their expectations.
Okay, thank you. Greg, let me ask you, does on-specs fill a role in that regard in the overall process?
No, I would definitely do. I just kind of, one more point I would throw into the equation from the discussion so far is product understanding. If you look at the region of the world where you're asking to manufacture, you take something for granted, like a barbecue grill, which you use here in the States regularly at game day and the weekends. the people that are manufacturing that product might not have an understanding of its intended use or what it's even for. So part of the organizations like OnSpecs can bring to the table is that we have staff that are educated in that. There's a lot of programs that go back and forth across the pond to make sure our staff knows the intended use of the product, or patio unit, things of that nature, where just because I manufacture this doesn't mean that I know that intended use. And once you understand that intended use, it adds another layer of value to that.
Yeah, I gotta think that sometimes people, in these countries, whether it's China or Taiwan, are manufacturing products they have no idea what they're for. They might as well be from outer space, I gotta think, because they just have no application to their life. So it's important to have someone that's identifying and zeroing in on what that's for. Let me just ask, are there any retailers in the room today? Good, I'm going to ask this next question, have some fun. What's changed in terms of the expectations of retailers? I'm going to throw this one out. As we see, there's a lot of things that are going on, and I don't think those expectations have gotten tougher. Emmanuel, what are you finding?
Customers want quicker products, innovation. They want cheaper products, and they want cheaper and newer.
Cheaper, yeah.
Newer and delivery on time.
Thank you. Larry, let me ask you about the notion of, I know one of the things that the Mybro Group does very well is offer full programs. How does that feed into what retailers are expecting these days?
Well, we deliver solutions that are, as we like to think about ourselves as an organization, that we really focus on the retail execution. So it's one thing to sell a product to a retailer, but you have to think it through and figure out really how it's going to be executed in a merchandising solution at store level. John touched on it with product on a peg and so on, but we really have to understand how to go to market and sell our product through. I don't think that we ever take for granted the fact that we have to see the product. We own it till it's sold to a consumer, basically. We don't go out there and put product in stores on consignment, but you really are putting product into our retailers on consignment from the fact that if it doesn't sell, the expectation is that you're going to take it back or you're going to do something with it. The last thing we want to do is bringing product back from our retailers and finding liquidation solutions or whatever for the product, because finding another retailer for it is likely not going to happen. So I think one of the things, and as you looked at some things on our company, I mean, we really truly spent a lot of time trying to understand the merchandising side of it and understand really what the product's going to take to market at store level.
John, let's go to the other end of the spectrum. John, I know you've dealt with full programs and great single-off products. How do you get that single-off product to make an impact and meet those expectations of the retailer when, in fact, sometimes they're saying, great idea, but that peg hook that we gave for your product is going somewhere else because a company like the Mybro Group can offer a full program?
Well, a single-off product is something that's very, very, very challenging to do today. I mean, for you as a retailer to go to any manufacturer and buy one product creates a whole bunch of very complex problems and some liabilities. It's not that it can't be done, but you need a very defined plan going in. In most cases, in single products, I've been successful in private labeling. It's whereby you take it and put that customer's name on it. And the reason that they have to do that with one product, if you're building a brand built on one product, it's very hard for you to define that brand to the end user, to the person that's buying that product. When you attach their brand name to it, it gives a certain level of integrity. And of course, the fact that their brand is on it, they can dump the advertising revenue into that product to promote that product and still maintain their negotiation position for the next session of negotiations on pricing or whatever that you have in dealing with that product.
Thank you. Let's talk a little more about forecasting and lead times. Manuel, back to you.